Yok. Yok.
Ya.
Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahümme ehdina fîmen hedeyt ve afina fîmen afeyt ve tevellena fîmen tevelleyt ve barik lena fîmâ e'tayt ve qina şerre mâ qadayt fe inneke teqdî ve lâ yuqdâ aleyk innehu lâ yezullu men vâleyt ve lâ ya'uzzu men âdeyt tebârekte Rabbena ve teâleyt felekel hamdu alâ mâ qadayt nestağfiruke Allahümme ve netûbu ileyk la havle ve la kuvvete illa billahil aliyyil azim ve sallallahu ala Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve ashabihi ve etbahi ve sellem velhamdülillahi rabbil alemin. We have been studying this section Araf from the Quran, and we studied up to the verse 6. And previously we were talking about okay. Now let's read the verse, inshallah. Then we will surely question those to whom the message was sent. And we will surely question the message bearers. Now we understand that the two sides, message bearers, the messengers, as we know it from the Quran, and we said mursalin, and those to whom the message was sent are the people, you and me. So we will understand that we will be responsible when we receive the message. We said the message will be understood depending on our conditions. If at least we are human beings, and we studied that at least we have the potentiality to know what the reality is, what the truth is, at least. And plus, we have the capacity to study the universe. So if we used our potentiality as they are given to us, which we will never get to their end. So we can say infinite within the created form means we cannot get to the end. That's what we understand the word infinite within the conditions of this universe, not that we shouldn't confuse the term with absolute. Absolute means nothing to do with the universe and nothing to do with the capacity of the universe, of course, but we cannot use any measurement, whereas human capacity can be measured by using another unit within the universe. So that is one message that we received in our creation. The second message, the universe is also the message from its creator to tell us, to teach us what it is, who or what can be its creator, source of existence. Actually, we shouldn't use the word creator in this sense. Source of existence, where does it come from, who arranged it, and what the purpose is. It reveals the qualities of its creator, the source of existence, and we can use our potentiality by, of course, developing our potentiality into capacity. We can use it and analyze what the source of existence could be, but of course, the universe doesn't really let us know and tell, even it is with its silence language, doesn't tell us why it is created. So I can understand the source of existence. So I can partially explain how the source of existence, after defining the source of existence, which kind of qualities it should have, then we can easily understand that the source of existence must be not of the nature of the universe, which means beyond the capacity of the universe, because universe is the made, produced production, but the source of existence is the one who has provided its existence with it is all the qualities that we are examining and finding out which kind of qualities the creator, the source of existence, should have of this universe. So this is the second message that we are receiving, but human capacity, yes, it is a message we can conclude, but I should have the data. I think this is an interesting point. Maybe I have some friends here, we can share with them as well. Human potentiality, and this is a serious subject that I wanted to benefit from your contribution. Human potentiality can understand if only it receives the data. So what we need now in this world, let's go into a little bit deeper of this subject. What is this that we are going to be questioned? What is the message that we are going to be questioned? So, of course, the second part of the verse we have not touched yet. It is also very interesting that we should understand what it really means or what it could mean for us in order to guide us to realize what the truth is. So human potentiality can make the analysis if the data is ready, if the data is available. Now, what we have data from our capacity, for example, it is within our capacity to ask the question, what, why, how, what is the reason of something? Anything happens, the first baby, even the baby, 2 years old baby, there's one here, we will have his or her music now, the background music from time to time. Excuse us, but it is beautiful. It is like a nightingale. Oh, good. I love it. So she started asking why, what, but slowly. Not yet, maybe. Said, why? Yeah, what? And also the first thing the babies learn from my experience, no. Whatever you say the first time, no, and then thinks, and then, yes, I want. So that is, how old is she? 3? Yeah, 3. That's it. Who taught it? Who taught her? Yeah, potentiality taught her. So we question. In order to get the answer, we have to have the data. What we have, our potentiality asks the question, but doesn't have the potential data. But it has the ability, which is called consciousness, intelligence. It has the ability to question if the data is provided. Now, on the one hand, the universe provides some data, but this data is first silent, doesn't speak in human language. It's a silent language. You have to decipher the silent language, right? So when we understand this data from the universe, but this data doesn't really answer all the questions that human potentiality asks, such as why? Such as, how come it exists? Yes, it says, I have these qualities. Where did he get it? How did he have it? What was your source of existence? It says, I have these qualities. Very simple example. If you look at a piece of art, the piece of art says, I am made beautifully. Yep, all right. Who made it? Look at me. It says, there are some qualities. To whom these qualities belong to? That is your capacity, that is your intelligence, that is your consciousness to analyze it now. You will come to a conclusion. But at the same time, why do I have these qualities? Do you have these qualities? Do I have these qualities? Why do I have these qualities? First, what is the purpose? Silent. Universe is silent. But I find myself in a troubled position. Why? My capacities, human capacities, are endless as far as I cannot reach to the end. All right? It is endless qualities. And they want satisfaction. Perfect satisfaction. This is what is given to me in my potentiality. All right? Where shall I find it? Universe says, no, I'm transient like you. I cannot satisfy you. I turn to myself, a little bit shortcut here, a little bit, because we discussed this matter quite a number of occasions. I turn myself, why should I have this existence? For what purpose? I have these qualities and I cannot satisfy them. And I know from the very beginning, from my potentiality and from my ruh, actually, potentiality from my ruh, capacity of my ruh, in the language of the Quran, ruh, spirit or soul, whatever you call it. But also universe has something, yes, gives some data, all right, thank you. But I understand that my existence is wonderful, excellent, perfect. But something is lacking. Why? Because the one who gave me, whoever he is, now we don't know yet, whoever he is or it is, who gave me this existence, he gave me this capacity for a dire need, for an eternal, infinite, perfect satisfaction. Dire need. I don't want to have anything faulty with defaults. I don't want to have anything transient. I don't like it. That is my potentiality says that is what you are. I cannot contradict myself, ignore it, reject it. What am I going to do? I start complaining. Whoever you are, you made me. We use these classes, free language. Whoever you are putting me in trouble. Are you torturing me? You must answer this question. And of course, he must answer this question. Because this question, why did I use he rather than it? Because these questions are reasonable questions. So the answer must come from a conscious being speaking in a reasonable way. So it must be a conscious being. In the language conscious being, we use he. So he, we don't say it. It generally refers to inanimate beings. You know that. So it must be an animate being, conscious. In order to be conscious, you have to be an animate being. It's obvious. So this conscious being, you must tell me why did you give this quality, this needs, and what am I going to do with it? You gave me these qualities and put me in trouble. You must answer it. Then we need what? His explanation. That is why we have to be careful. These questioning qualities are, in fact, the trusts given to us, promises given to us. You will have this. If you are aware of it, you will need my explanation. That you have to search for it. Seriously, search for it. Where is the explanation to my questions? And I cannot accept any explanation but from the creator of these qualities. You must tell me, why did you do it? Isn't that normal that to expect any somehow difficult, complicated machine? Whoever has designed this machine and made it, produced it, and presented to the market, he knows that the people who buy in order to use them, they don't know how they are going to operate with it, how are they going to use it. So what do? Even the simplest thing the industry produces, industrial productions, the simplest thing in the package, what you find? This matter itself and user manual, manufacturer's manual, usual user's manual. We need user's manual for my existence, for my capacity, and also for the capacity of the universe, because universe answered some questions in a way that, yes, I have these qualities. Where did you get it? No answer. Why did you get it? No answer. How did you get it? No answer. Like a piece of art. Demonstrates that to human consciousness, demonstrates that I have an artist. Who is it? I don't know. Must have somebody. Must be something. You have to look for this artist. So that is why I need this user's manual. That is why it is called messengers. Now, I think it is understood. You are smart, alhamdulillah. So then we will surely question those to whom the message was sent, means you and me will be questions. What have you done with your human qualities, with the universe I provided, with the message I sent you? Now, some people may not get any education at all how to use the universe. Like me, I don't know anything of the universe. Nowadays, it is categorized under the disciplines of biology, chemistry, geography, zoology, geology, whatever the lots of logies are. Many logies are going on there. And I don't know any of them really, apart from some social sciences, which is crazy, nothing to do with the really existence of the universe, but make philosophy of it. Anyways, that is something that our subject, out of our subject. So what I do now, I don't really know how the universe works. So I have to look for the expertise. How do they explain? Is there a benefit from it? But if somebody has not received any education, how they would do it? They can just see it in general. They can get a general conclusion. They can say that it cannot happen randomly. It's impossible. I mean, I cannot attribute this universe to a random happenings. It's so perfect. And trillions, countless different creatures are perfect within themselves, but working in harmony perfectly, supporting each other, helping each other, providing what they need, the other one needs, and also use benefit from the other ones. There is a perfect communication, and there is nothing really in their or existence the quality to realize this communication. So what did they do now? They conclude that there's something. So the next thing with this innocent people, usually what do they do? But if they are innocent, of course, what do? They say, definitely, there must be something. It is not serious. So what do they hear from religion in general? God. I said, oh, yeah, must be God. They may not be able to qualify, but definitely they said God is the creator, owner of this universe. And then, of course, only religions claim God, the concept of God. Philosophy don't. But don't confuse. If it's philosophical doctrine, let's say, mentions about God, it is referring to the prophetic message from there, borrowed. They don't invent, borrow. So they borrow from there and argue, develop argument about it. So it is original, the concept of any existent being mentioned not of the universe is or comes from prophetic message. So they say, okay, prophetic message means symbolically, everybody understands religion. So they follow their traditional religion, whatever the religion they see around, but it may not have, for example, a perfect or perfected revelation. Their responsibility limited to this. If they have the ability to do that, capacity to do that, to investigate if there is an other possibilities nowadays, which is possible, but not everybody may feel the need. They say, okay, my religion is enough for me. Okay, as long as they don't really deliberately deny others, just follow God, the concept of God, and the religion they find in their environment. To me, they are fine. Then also I have some other support from other scholars that they have the same ideas. It is not my invention, personal invention, of course. I agree with those scholars who say this. Now come to the conclusion, to our subject. These people are responsible for this message as much as they could. We cannot impose anything, but we have also religious side saying that, look, Islam is the most perfect religion. They didn't confirm most perfect religion, so they are not saved. No, I don't say this. I don't want to say anything about them. God knows, none of my business. That's so simple for me. None of my business. I'm not the guardian of the hell or paradise, none of my business. So God will take care of them. But theoretically, as far as I am concerned, I cannot have any negative feelings or understandings for them. Okay, well, that is all right. So if someone investigates the universe, existence, he must question because he has the ability to do so. But anybody who receives the message of the messengers, then they will be responsible for the content of this message. They have to investigate it. They have to reason whether it makes sense and also get the education from them, listen to them, and have an student-teacher relationship. Teacher teaches but doesn't impose. That is important. That is what also Quran says. I teach you. I make a suggestion to you. Yep. I convey the message to you, but I don't impose, because this is left to your free will to say yes or no. Responsibility is on you, not on me. But I am delivering it to you. You see that there are evidence in it. There is evidence in it. You can confirm it, but you are free to decide this way. It means confirmation or rejection. Responsibility is for you. That is why surely God will definitely question those to whom the message was sent. That means, I think it is clear, is it? That is why we understand we should utilize, I'm just wrapping up, we should utilize our capacity, which we are created with, and also we should utilize the other creatures, we call them the universe, and also we should utilize the message as much as we received. So rather than trying to make it a pass a judgment about other people, whether they are saved or not, none of our business. But the fiqh matters is different. Fiqh matter deals with social rights of the social life. So they say about the rulings, that is another subject, nothing to do with us. We don't really study fiqh matters, but it is better to know that at least know the principle, fundamental, if you like, constitutional principle that fiqh can, Islamic fiqh, of course, if Islamic law, let's say, legislation, can only say, ask which religion or which law I am going to judge you. Tell me. It means tell me your religion. If I said, I'm a Muslim, judge cannot say no. That's it. I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm going to treat you with the Christian law. That is Islamic Sharia. So that is why they are interested in the identity of the people in order to keep the peace and order of the society. Got it? Inshallah. But I'm not a judge, none of my business. Even judge cannot tell about what is in one's heart, real intention. No, only God knows it. The Creator knows it. So we cannot say anything. These people save it or not save it. No, we better shut up. That's why the simple language is this about the subject. Okay, how about this one? We will surely question the message bearers. Why? The verse says, the message bearers means prophets, messengers. Yeah. Why do you question them? And also, in my, excuse me, that's it, old age problem. Where are my glasses? It's interesting. Okay. No, I found it. The children, they shouldn't break it, so I need it. Bismillah. I will read a verse from Ma'idah 5th verse, section 5, Ma'idah, and 109. يوم يجمع الله الرسل فيقول ماذا أجبتم قالوا لا علم لنا. Even the prophets say, it is interesting, I will read out the translation to you. قالوا لا علم لنا إنك أنت العليم علام الغيوب. So, all right. Then I haven't written the translation here. We have to do it. So when the prophets, a rough, quick translation, when the prophets are gathered, I think in other Mursalat, section Mursalat, 77, yeah, 77th chapter of the Quran also mentions about this, when the prophets are gathered. There is a third verse, I think, third or fourth verse. The Quran says, let me say it. وَإِذَا الرُّسُلُ أُقْبِتَتْ. When a meeting time is appointed for the Rusul in order to be questioned. Have you done your mission? Yeah, that is what? Yeah, 11, yeah. 77, 11, 77, section 77, verse 11. And also mentions the same event. They are going to be given appointed to get together, and so that they will witness what I have conveyed to you, which kind of response saying you gave us. The prophets say in this verse, the first verse I read, when we gathered the prophets, and فَيَقُولُ مَاذَا أُجِبْتُمْ. How you have received response, which kind of response you received. They say, قَالُوا لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا. We have no knowledge, we don't know. But somebody came in the Quran, there is a good description of it actually. In the Quran it says, it is interesting. Let's go ahead and say that. Yeah. I don't know. The prophets will say, I don't know. We don't know. In the Quran, interestingly, the descriptions, there are quite a number of good number of descriptions of hypocrites, which means these people outwardly say, I am with you. Inwardly, not sure really. So if something goes against their interest, twist it. Yeah. It doesn't mean, we have to be very careful in order to understand hypocrite. Hypocrite doesn't mean spy. That sometimes it is misunderstood as spy. How? The spy, what does it do? Comes and says that I am a Muslim. Really, he knows that he's not a Muslim. But hypocrite is not that. Hypocrite means, it means personally, I may have some hypocrisy in me. Well, I say, yes, I believe in Allah. Yes, there is a hereafter. Yes, I believe in the resurrection and the day of judgment. I'm going to give an account. But in my life, you see, sometimes I just swerve my path and treat or do something as if I don't believe. There is then small piece of hypocrisy there as well. So Quran describes this, but never gives any name. Even the prophet. Prophet said, I am informed. Who are they? No, one gives. He doesn't give as well. What does it mean? It is a good example for us that we cannot label anybody with hypocrisy as the title of, some hypocrisy we can find pieces, but it doesn't mean that my identity is a hypocrite. Never use this word for anyone. But why is it told in the Quran then? First of all, we have to be very careful. Secondarily, we don't know who really is. That is what also Quran is telling me. Maybe, may not be. None of your business. Take care of your own responsibility and treat people according to their outward identity, ID card. If someone says, I am a Christian, say, he says he's Christian. That's it. For me, he's a Christian. Welcome as a Christian. So he's a Muslim. Welcome. I cannot say, I don't know really. No, we cannot say this. That's important. Even the prophets said, La ilma lana. We don't know. If the prophet doesn't know, how can I claim that he's a really hypocrite guy? I know that. No. We don't do that. So إنك أنت العلام إنك أنت علام الغيوب. This unknown side of the things, only you know, no one else can know. That is why when the message bearers are asked, questioned, what have you done? Okay, whether you have done your mission perfectly. Which kind of response you receive, it is not my business. It is not the responsibility of the messengers. What does it mean practically for me? If I convey a message to somebody, if the person opens up to me, of course, if doesn't turn his face or turns his back to me, I cannot shout behind him, look, there is God exists. If you don't believe, you're responsible for it. It doesn't work. It is not really conveying the message. Somebody is open-minded, comes to you, tell them what you believe, really. So we have to do this job, but never say, look, I told this man 10 times and he didn't believe. Or he said he believed, but really he is not really practicing it. So no. Do your business and not interfere into other people's reality and pass judgment on them. Come back to this. Why the questions are going to ask for the message bearers. Look, we can take it for this now. Ask yourself. Now, is a result of this, let's make it practical, because in this class is what we do. We try to understand the Quran practically what it means to me. We don't study the Quran to collect or to get information. No, practically what it means to me, whether it makes sense to me or which kind of benefit I can get from it and how do I apply it. So let's do that. Now, everybody should ask the question to himself, herself, saying, do I have any, first, default, second, discrepancy in my existence? Not only physical existence, which is called disability, but mental disability is also possible. Look at yourself. Do you see anything wrong in your creation about your potentiality? One point, especially about the people of this century, lots of psychological problems and confusions. Now, be careful. They are natural or nurtured. Be careful. It means, really, are you created with this qualities, really? Or have you distorted it because of your free choices, saying or conditioning yourself that I will give you a very simple example. Everybody wears in this way, fashion. I want to wear in this way. That is what I am. We understand that, what I mean? That's why my reality is. That is my potentiality tells me you have to wear, you have to behave in this world in this way, particular way. Question. We have to be brave enough to question. Maybe we may not share it with others, all right? But we have to be honest within ourselves. Question. Is it nurtured or is it natural? I'm using natural deliberately because I know it is a rubbish language, but a meaningless word, but we understand that the way we are created. I mean, I found it so awkward to use the language primordial disposition as a philosophical class. Yeah, it is what it means, but practical language I'm using is naturally. Am I created in this way or did I distort it? This is very important for me because from my own existence, I experienced this, but I have been working for many years, decades with youth. And most of the youth are suffering from this problem. They condition themselves. When we talk deeply, as a consultant, my profession was a consultant, to work in a college as a consultant, so student consultant. So, and also some sort of, I'm not a psychologist, by the way. I'm not a psychotherapist or something, but consultant. So I was talking always with the students, college students, and they are saying, really, that is what inside, I feel this voice. But what we do, let's analyze it. The honest ones understand that it has started with conditioning themselves against their parents, against society, or imitating society, going along with their friends. Some of them are legitimate, some of them are really made up story. So it was like fashion. You see that, huh? Every 1 or 2 years, the fashion of how do you say, cutting your hair, barber cutting your male and female change. Now this side is long, this side is short. Now around the top, But when I see that, it is the best example is the people wear their pants in a funny way. I don't understand, but they do that. Why? Because the others are doing it, and now the patchy or torn off trousers. Why? I don't know. They deliberately destroy the material and sell it with a higher price fashion. Now, when I was a child, to wear trousers or the my panties with something, a horn, I come from an extremely poor family. Yeah, I mean, struggling for food, let alone buying a pair of trousers. It is secondary. So most of the time, lots of patches here and there, especially on the knees, because playing, falling down. I was so ashamed of wearing my trousers torn. So I was begging my mother, put a patch on it, but I couldn't go to school. But nowadays, people are proud of it. What is the reason? Nothing really. Yep, nothing. That is why we are turned into robots in this culture. Of course, there is a consumption. As long as this system, economic system, you are a consumer, you are the best person in the world. That is why the value of human beings are judged. Now, the measurement, the gauge is what? Your credit story. Your humanity is evaluated according to your credit story, isn't it? True? When you jump into the life, you will see that if your credit story is bad, which kind of treatment you will receive from others. That is reduction of human value, very radical reduction of human value. It's a problem, a social problem, philosophical problem. But we have to be aware of it, that's it. So message bearers, first, I have to ask my real self. With no conditioning, we have to be very careful. Of course, it is difficult when it comes to analyze yourself, because I don't want to identify myself with a one who destroyed, corrupted my nature, real nature. Yeah. So I don't want to admit it. I don't want to admit my faults, my mistakes. That is how I am prone to where I am prone to. I have to be very careful about it and honest. You understand that the message bearer within you is perfectly functioning if you are honest to yourself. Now, how about the universe? It's very interesting. I see nothing in the universe which is not performing his message, its message, perfectly. Yep. Have you seen any simple example? Honeybee, not working. Today is Sunday, holiday. It is a resting day. I'm going to rest. Have you seen any animal doing that? Any plant doing that? Only human beings. In 7 days, 1 day is not enough, 2 days, and then now half of the Friday is gone. And in some European countries, you should know better than I do, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, resting day, for some reasons. Okay, but this is for employment reason, whatever. They know what they are doing, really, for their interest, they are doing, arranging all this, but okay, nothing wrong with it, but none of my business. But I will understand that only human beings are lazy. The rest of the creation performs their message in the perfect way, 100 perfect. Everything, even an old tree rotting, is performing its message perfectly. How perfectly it is rotting. We understand. For example, human beings are getting old, like me. I'm proud of my old age. I'm not ashamed of it at all. Whatever is created, most perfect. I'm getting ready to go back to my origin. Oh, goodness. I mean, using the Sufi language, we are going to meet with the beloved one. So this is Sufi language, which is beautiful. Okay, very entertaining. I love them. All right, not always. Sometimes they go to extremes, so that curb your brains. So that is what we have to be very careful when we are, if we are interested in Sufi literature, which is beautiful, but at the same time, be careful. Anyway, that's my experience. That's it. I was baby and growing, sure, everybody knows, and perfectly growing. Now I am perfectly aging. We should understand. We have to realize that aging does not mean that my creator could not keep my youth alive. That's why it is you losing its power, getting tired or whatever. No. While I am aging, my children are growing. While they are also come to the age of 35, 40, declining period of their life, my grandchildren are growing. But the creator is not really losing any power. What is going on? Perfectly aging me, demonstrating all kinds of creation so that he is able to choose any sort of creation. That's a perfect demonstration. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Illness is perfect. Health is perfect. We have to understand. Vitamins are perfect. Proteins are perfect. And also, the baby is sleeping here. All right. Don't touch. Don't disturb me. So, perfect. How about virus? This coronavirus, they put a name. So they put another name for it, made it sound scientific. I don't use it. Why? It's a trick. So I say, death angels are visiting us, reminding us slowly that your life is not sure, is it? I can tell you, let you know. Okay, welcome. Death angels are welcome. But do I like? to have it? No, please keep away from me. Can I say that they are, something is wrong in creation, so that sometimes viruses are spread around and become pandemic? No, perfect creation. Who can create a virus that clever? Changes according to the conditions, adjusts itself. It is just at the end a molecule consists of what? Particles. Do the particles have any consciousness, anything, any will and communication? No, let's do this way. Let's play that threaten these people. No, they have no quality. Created perfectly, made it perfectly, made perfectly. Now we understand that the message bearers are going to be questioned, and we from now, without waiting for the day of judgment, can comfortably understand that what? Yes, they are. They do their job perfectly. Let's come to the prophets. Okay. I think this subject needs a little bit deeper analysis. The prophets are human beings. Have they done their? We have to understand how to benefit from the prophets. They bring the message, all right? And they put the message into their practice, into their life, put it in practice in their life. Of course, we have to understand that prophets are created human beings, but they are employed as instructors. Instructing what? The teachings of the Quran, the message. It means putting into practice, demonstrating in the form of a human being. Within their own physical conditions, they demonstrate the practical side of the message in a way that, but I think this point is, I'm speaking at the same time, my friends here. It is very important. Practicing the message within their physical life conditions, right? In the example of the prophet Jesus, he was in a certain nowadays Jerusalem, and he was delivering his message in the temple, the main temple in Jerusalem, Masjid Aqsa. No. And then delivering his message there as an authority, although he wasn't a rabbi, educated, trained rabbi. Now, within this condition, he was presenting his message among children of Israel, to the children of Israel. That is a responsibility as a messenger. And he will be questioned, have you done your job according to these conditions? Now, the prophet, let's come, most of our friends here, although I see some, some people, 1, 2, 3, at least 3 or 4, coming from not originally born into Muslim family here among our friends. So welcome. I'm very happy to see you, by the way, and especially all our friends. Everybody is special for me here. I cannot point out really, of course. Okay, my old friend, physically we have friendship with colonists here. That's why I want to say welcome. I'm happy to see you here. So anyways, now we have to see the prophet in his physical conditions. And also, I also need your comments, help. Let's understand it as much as possible within our capacity. Now, this is a critical point here. This is a very critical point, especially nowadays. It became very critical among the Muslim community, how to treat with the prophets and narrations from the prophets, which is called hadith and sunnah. So hadith and sunnah, different methods, you know that. So how are we going to do it? The prophet is a human being practicing the message in his living conditions. All right. All right. Then it becomes an historical event. Why? Well, these life conditions are there and nothing to do with me, because in the case of Prophet Jesus, I am not among the children of Israel. They wouldn't accept me anyways. And also I'm not preaching in the temple. No one would listen to me now. Even they wouldn't let me go and speak in the temple nowadays. So we understand that I'm not sharing his physical conditions. And in the case of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in order to share his conditions, I'm not going to live in Arabian Peninsula, which is mostly desert. And he lived with very uneducated pagan people, among the pagan people. So to start with initially. So these pagan people I'm not with the pagan people really where I am living here. Most of them are at this high school graduate, and many of them are college graduates. So none of my business, it seems to be. But there is a very serious part here. When the prophet practiced it practiced in such a way that we can drive universal principles of practice. Apply it, universal principles. Apply it to your living conditions. It must be, the capacity must be such that applicable. So to your living conditions. So comes the very important difference between hadith narrations and sunnah. Now, hadith narrations related to its historical context, description of the observance, which are called narrators, ravi. Yep, in Arabic. So narrators. But how about the sunnah? Sunnah is the universal side of it. Universal means it is sunnah of the prophetic tradition to treat in any conditions within these principles. These principles must be driven from, taken out of from hadith narrations by expertise. If I'm not expert, how can I? Expert means I have to know all living conditions of the prophet. I have to know all the narrators and their qualities, their capacities, their living conditions, and then make a general analysis of the hadith narrations, come up with a universal principle. This universal principle must be such that everybody, every community can apply it to their own living conditions. That is why we have to see the difference, very important, this difference. I see the many Muslims are not really paying attention to it even when they speak about hadith. So, for example, they're comic. It's very, I mean, embarrassing that a man identifies himself as the hadith professor, speaking and making a video program. I noticed he is narrating hadith, not noticing the sunnah. Huh? That is the age of ignorance, I think. We have to be very careful. So, taking the literal meaning of the narrations. Anyways, when you look at the prophet, we see, for example, prophet says, I don't know. Prophet says, makes a mistake. Especially, for example, I can narrate one hadith to you, then you can understand the sunnah of sunnah side of it. It's easy because two people came and argued and in front of the prophet, and one of them presented himself as if he is the right one. Now, the other was lost the case. Okay, prophet said, that is, I heard your evidence, and that is my judgment. It was also the prophet's, one of the mission also, prophet was what? Minister of Justice, Minister of Finance, Minister of Administration, Minister of War, everything that time. So he was responsible for everything for this as well in Medina. So he passed the judgment, and then people get out of the presence of the prophet and started talking, said that, you see, I became right. Even the prophet approved it. The prophet came out and said, no, I passed the judgment according to the evidence you presented to me. I don't know right. I don't know the reality. I can pass judgment only according to the principles, evidence you present to me. Some of them make a beautiful, eloquent speech and convince me. Look, what the prophet is presenting here, not that he knows right. He knows your heart. He knows your intention. He is being that is the Sunnah side of it. What? We can judge people according to what the evidence they bring. The other one may be right, but they didn't have the evidence to show it. We don't know. So we cannot say that this is the reality. No, this is what outwardly I can see in the evidence. That is what prophet is being an example here, practicing justice and showing me how to present it. And did the prophet make any mistake in his prayer? Yes, he did. Not many though, but he did. Why? As a prophet reciting the Quran, he made a mistake. Oh, how can it? No, it is possible. Why? It must be so. The example must be so in order to demonstrate that when you make a mistake, what you should do. It is not a shortcoming. It is the best example for human beings, because we need an example for our good actions and also faulty actions. Get the message? So when we look at the life of the prophet, we should never ever think that the prophet made a mistake, so he is not a good example. He is the best example in order to teach me how can I deal with my mistakes, problems. So when I see that prophet from the very beginning of as far as the life of the Prophet Muhammad is concerned, because we have the lots of historical evidence narrated to us. So we know, but we don't have many evidence narrated to us from the prophet of Moses, none of them. But I have the evidence. That's why we prefer to use the evidence from the life of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay. We understand that from the very first day of the message he received, he never hesitated. He never gave in under any threat. Even he received the life-threatening treatments, never gave it up. Perfect. Until he died. So we understand that God says both sides will be examined, and you understand that both sides are fulfilling their, both sides mean message bearers are fulfilling their message perfectly. You don't have any excuse. Your conscience, your intelligence, your feelings, As long as they work perfectly, you are responsible. Maybe some illnesses from birth or otherwise, accident as a result, involving into an accident, and somebody's brain may be damaged a little bit and then forgets or cannot remember something. That is possible, not responsible. Also those people who lose their, who are not really given perfect mind to think, they're not possible for, responsible for anything. So the message bearers are doing, performing their message perfectly, and my human nature is performing its message perfectly. Universe is performing its message perfectly. The only possible thing for, but possible element is left what? Human being. Am I treating the message perfectly? That is the question we have to ask today to ourselves. Inshallah. Okay. Okay, let's read this following verse quickly because we have covered it. Then we will give them a full account with sure knowledge, for we were never absent. Yeah, we know perfectly. We will say, you did this. You now. Let's say what I think. Let's get ready for the day of judgment. So I will have no excuse at all that my creation has had some defect. No, I have no excuse. And I can't claim that the universe could not perform its message perfectly. No, it is done. It is doing perfectly. I witnessed that. Prophets, yes, they did. I received it. And I know I have to work, I have to study. If I don't study, that is my laziness. I'm not responsible for it. Sorry, I am responsible for it. That's my laziness. And so the message bearers are, okay, perfect. And they who received the message, human beings, that is what we have to be very careful. God says, we know that what you have done with the message I sent you through main three ways. What have you done with them? Be careful. And we are not absent from it. Very simple. Oh, the time is past. Oh, sorry. Please forgive me. We were never absent. Whatever is going on within my feelings must be known by, who will complete the sentence? By the one who created these feelings. By the one who created these feelings. And you cannot expect that the one who created these feelings may be not aware of it. I was hiding from it, and it is not known to my creator. Forget about it. Yes, your mother may not know, your wife or husband may not know, your children may not know. Yes, your best friend, close friend may not know what is going on in you, not may, really don't know. They don't know. But the creator of your feelings, your imaginations, your mind, your all sort of, your within your spirit, whatever the creator must know it. You cannot escape from it. That's what I got from verse 7. Thank you very much. And time is really late. We are beyond the limit. So thank you very much. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Any question? Any comment?
There's some comments on the chat.
Oh, thank you. Oh, there are many, not well. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me read it. Colin says, are we all not in one sense message bearers? We all read the word and we all interpret it in it some way. Yeah, as a recipient, but Colin is not among us. As a recipient, let's share it, this comment. Yes, we are responsible, and we all interpret it in some way. Yes, we are responsible for responding back to the message by interpreting it this way or another way, correct? And we live in accordance with our interpretations. Yes, we are responsible. That's why we are all responsible. Yeah, for our interpretations, how we live, our verbal language, our body language. Of course, thank you. All of these are statements of how we see the world, correct? I agree. Thank you, Colin. On behalf, although you are not here, but the one who created you knows it. So there are messages, and others read the message that we give. Yes, we are responsible. We have a good point, very good point. The way we transfer the message and the others receive it, we are responsible for it. That is also an interesting point. I thank him. Message that we give. We are all responsible for the message that we give, and we will be questioned about them. Correct. Thank you. Very good point. I'm sorry I couldn't stay until the end. We'll try to join next week. Yes, thank you very much. I know you are joining us from another continent. I understand. Do such experts exist? Afshan, I understand. You are always asking. Everybody asks a perfect question always. Very interesting. That's a very practical question. I don't know, Afshan, but as far as my responsibility is concerned, I have to look for the most possible perfect expert. Well, for example, let's say, do I have any doctor who is expert on every subject at the best way? No. What do I do? Best possible ones, correct? That's what I have to do with the experts as well, to interpret what the Sunnah, Hadith, how the Hadith must be understood in the form of Sunnah. So besides mentioning necessary parameters to make principle Sunnah, to know whole picture, yeah. Akabe says, excuse me, Agabe has another question. The Quran is necessary also to make those universal principles right. Now, I understood what I understand. Hadith narrations must be understood while they are turned into Sunnah universal principles. The person must bear in mind that the Hadith narrations are narrated from the life or words, speech of the Prophet, who is responsible to demonstrate the message of the Quran. So Hadith narrations cannot be handled with, studied with, without having the background knowledge of Quran. Because why? Because Hadith is what? About the messenger's life and saying. Who is the messenger? The messenger is the one who puts into practice the message of the Quran. So the message of the Quran must be in his background. So I must understand the Hadith narrations, bearing in mind that this is performed by a person who has the background knowledge of Quran. I have to do it as well. But
can we say Quran is the one that is tying me with Sunnah in a sense that it's time and space independent. Like it's independent of time and space. Sunnah is the practicality of Quran.
Quran ties me. Yeah. So that is why at the background of my Hadith understandings must lie the knowledge of Quran. So Quran is always universal. Anyways, you can never put an historical time and space limitations. It is the absolute knowledge of God manifested to me or delivered to me. That is what the nature of Quran is or must be. Otherwise, why should I bother about this book? Yeah, I have to investigate and come to the conclusion that it is a speech of the creator of the universe or my creator. Okay, so it is all universal. So when I study the hadith, in order to convert the hadith into universal principles, sunnah, then my main criterion must be Quran. Like all the laws must be within the definition of constitution, like this. So you can use this analogy. Okay, thank you. They were beautiful comments, but I didn't notice. That's how. Bismillah. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.